Hey, good morning everyone. Welcome back to the channel. Today we're doing a little fun fishing out here on the Kissimmee Chain. I'm really excited to come out here today because the mornings are starting to cool off. We're in that late summer, early fall transition, and I'm hoping that the big ones are coming out here to feed. This particular lake is known to have giants. All of the Kissimmee Chain lakes have big bass on them, so I'm excited to see what the day has in store, y'all. So y'all stay tuned. As always, I appreciate you watching, and let's go fishing. So let's pull up the deep dive app and see what the day has in store. So we are going to be hanging out on the west side of the lake today, and as you can tell by those blue dots with this wind effect section, for most of the day it is going to be relatively calm. We're going to be leaving right around noonish, I would imagine, and that's when that wind's going to pick up. You can tell by those brown waves there and the brown line there on the shore that the wind is going to be picking up. If we go over to the weather section, you can tell by the temperature, it's that late summer, early fall transition. It's not going to get above the mid 80s today. And as you can tell by these bite windows, we may have to stay out here a little bit longer because it looks like there's going to be a minor feeding window somewhere around noon. So we'll just have to see what the bass have to say. But I really like the deep dive app, y'all. It is a great tool just to hedge your bets, and it'll ultimately put more fish in the boat throughout the day. So if y'all are interested in using the Deep Dive app, just click the link in the description below. And a huge shout out to Deep Dive for sponsoring today's video. Let's make our first cast here. We're just going to cover a ton of water with this thing. Run it through lily pads, parallel shore line, and run around some bully whips. Just give plenty of bass ample opportunity to come up and crush this thing. I'm familiar with this lake, so I don't have my transducer on. I know that this area is formless and void of any structure, so these bass typically relate to these lily pads, bully whips, and emergent grass, so it makes it a little bit easier to fish. That's why when that sun comes up, I'm definitely going to be flipping a lot of this and just trying to continue to present my bait to those bass as efficiently as possible. This is one of those lakes where it just has that true Florida feel. At any moment, a giant can just come out and crush this buzzbait. This is just such a beautiful lake. It's easy to take for granted that you can come out here and fish, have the health to do it, but always be sure just to count your blessings. If you're able to get out on a kayak or a boat, just being able to go out and enjoy nature, it's a blessing to be able to do that. So just be sure not to take that for granted, because there's a lot of people who would love to be able to be out here right now and enjoy God's creation. So next time y'all are out, just make sure you take an extra second to appreciate it. Thank God for your blessings. All this grass is so green and vibrant. It's like it would just hold a ton of life. I'm sure it does. It all has good depth to it. Yeah. It's about 3 to 4 foot. For this lake in particular, that's pretty deep. Again, there's not much out here as far as structure is concerned, so all of this should be holding bass. I just don't know if they're willing to come up for this big old buzzbait. That is a fat bass. Look at that. That is insane. Well, I just picked up the speedworm. See if maybe I could get one on the speedworm. Wouldn't you know? We got one. I gotta see how much that thing weighs. That's ridiculous. We're a long way away from the spawn, and that thing's about to pop. That's probably 2 pounds or so. Yeah, 2 pounds, 1 ounce. Maybe 15 inches. All right, solid fish. That's why we came out here. I knew that there was quality like that out here, even during the summer. They just feed up so well. We need about a 25 incher like that. Thank you, buddy. Had to go to the old faithful speedworm. I left my normal speedworm rod at the house somehow. I have never done that before. I knew this sparse grass looked too good to not have some kind of a bass in it. Wow, big worm, I guess, does not always mean big bass. That's one on the big worm. Hey, buddy. Let's see if that's a pattern. With these bigger worms, whenever I catch one, I just cut maybe ½ an inch off the top where that hook was trying to rip through, and typically you can catch 1 or 2 more like that. See, never know the difference. these bully whips. Some people call them toolies or bulrushes. They're sparse enough down there on the bottom with their root system that you can run a spinnerbait, a big worm like this on the bottom, a speed worm. You can easily flip into it, and they're basically just little pencil reeds that go up and down the water column, and there's nothing on the bottom and there's nothing mid water column that's going to get you hung up. So these are different than cattails. Those have all kind of root systems on the bottom and can sometimes be very difficult to fish. Bass, as far as I can tell, they like these bulrushes or bully whips more than cattails. If they can have their choice, that's what they're typically going to relate to more. Now, I don't know if that's just because you can fish those more effectively, and so you're able to present your bait more and you just catch more off of that style, but if you have a mixture in your lake, I would definitely pick those bully whips over the cattails, if nothing else for efficiency's sake. All right, well, he was right where he should have been as well. Again, another little butterball. This fish out here just built different. I mean, look at the shoulders on that one. Just a pretty fish. Thanks, buddy. There he goes. That was another one on the big worm. Pulling it through those bully whips. I saw you down there, dude. He was knocking on those reeds. Pitched that big worm down there. Couldn't resist it. It's another fat, healthy one. Got 3 bass off of that one worm now since I cut the top off. Another pretty Kissimmee bass. Thank you, buddy. I think that deserves a new worm. This is the same setup I was using to catch some bass out at a local place here called Tenoroc. I'll link that video down below. I was able to catch a few pretty big ones with this big worm. This is a Zoom mag worm. It's about 8 inches. I'm throwing it with a 3/8 ounce weight. I have it pegged just so it stays close to where I throw it. If I didn't have it pegged, Like whenever I was just pitching where I saw those reeds knocking, that weight would have pulled the worm away from that bass, and that bass would have never seen it, more than likely. So that's why you peg that weight. All right, see if we can find some more. That was fun. One of my main goals with this channel, outside of just showing you what I'm doing and trying to teach along the way, is just capturing the beauty of Florida and of God's creation. I hope I do a good job doing it. It's days like today, I try to make it as immersive as possible, and I want you to feel like you were fishing with me and not just watching me fish. So I hope it comes across that way, because it is a beautiful day to be out here. Try flipping this grass a little bit. Just spook something. I'm going to actually switch weights here. I rarely fish a 1 ounce weight. Usually what I'm flipping is pretty sparse, but we're gonna have to transition from flipping to punching, because I'm trying to throw in this thicker stuff and I just keep getting cut. So we're about to do a little switcheroo here. Tie a snell knot, make a loop, then wrap 7 times. Then after 7 wraps, take that tag in, go back through the loop there, cinch tight, pull, and then I like to grab that tag in and just cinch both tight, trim off that tag in. I like to leave just a little bit of room just in case that knot slips some. So we have a little bit of a tag end. If that bass has that weight in its mouth, that hook will kick up at about a 45-degree angle, and that'll increase that hookup ratio. The Rage Menace, this is just the standard size. You want that hook running at about a 45-degree angle outside of the bait. So then that way, that hook will be going back in at about a 45-degree angle. Push that through. Then I like for the tip of the hook just to poke out just a little bit, and I push it back through. That way the hook knows where to go. There you go, a little scent on there, and hopefully this is heavy enough to get through that grass. See if this does the trick. Right now we got a 1 ounce weight. We got that peg with 2 bobber stops. Have a 3/0 Gamakatsu flipping hook with a black and blue Rage Menace. Finally. Took a million flips. Finally got a good one, or a decent one flipping. They're all cookie cutters today. This is the last spot too. Got another 2-pounder there. Thank you, buddy. And wouldn't you know it, it's almost to the minute of the minor feed. That's why I always like looking at those feeding windows. It just kind of gives you an idea of what potentially could happen. And I've been fishing just as hard as I was 2 hours ago since my last bite. There's something to those feeding windows. Last cast. All right, we were able to sneak one more in there at the very end. That was another fun day out here on the Kissimmee Chain. Alrighty, y'all, trip is over. I'll be honest, it was a lot tougher out here than I thought it was gonna be. We only put 5 fish in the boat, but we were using those techniques that could catch you a giant. I really like this lake because it always has really good quality bass, and you always feel like there's a possibility to land a giant. Today wasn't our day, but there's always next time. But that's the trip for today, y'all. If you haven't already, please hit that like and subscribe button. Thank y'all for watching. I'll catch you in the next one.